The year was 2022. For the people of Durban, South Africa, April began like any other month. The air was warm, and the Indian Ocean whispered along the coast. But then the sky turned a dark, angry grey. Rain began to fall, not in gentle drops, but in solid sheets of water that seemed determined to wash the world away. It was a storm unlike any seen in living memory. The rain did not stop for days. It hammered rooftops, turned streets into raging rivers, and saturated the very earth until it could hold no more. This was not just a heavy downpour, it was something new, something more powerful. Rivers that were usually calm and predictable swelled into monstrous torrents. The Umgeni River broke its banks with incredible force. They tore through homes, bridges, roads, carrying away everything in their path. People woke in the middle of the night to water flooding their bedrooms, rising faster than they could escape. Long before the floods and the headlines, the changes were happening quietly in the heart of Nigeria. In the small farming villages of the Sahel, stretching across states like Kano, Borno, Kaduna, Sokoto, Yobe, Katsina, Zamfara, and Jigawa, the signs of change have been visible for years. Elders in places like Bauchi, Gombe, Kebbi, Niger, and Plateau speak of a time when the rains were reliable. They knew when to plant their millet and sorghum, timing their harvest with a rhythm passed down through generations in Benue, Taraba, Adamawa, Nasarawa, Kogi, and Kwara. Now that certainty is gone. The rainy season might start late or end too early. Sometimes the rain falls so hard and fast that it washes away the young seeds before they can take root in the dry, dusty soil. The land itself feels different in these Nigerian states. Walk across a field in Kano or Taraba, and you will feel the change under your feet. The soil is often hard and cracked, thirsty for water that no longer comes as it should. The air smells of dust, of fine powder that gets into everything. Your clothes, your food, your lungs. The heat is more intense, a constant pressing weight that saps energy from people and animals alike across Nigeria's Sahel and central states. To understand why our world is changing, we must look at the air around us. For centuries, human activity has been releasing invisible gases into the atmosphere. These gases act like a blanket, trapping the sun's heat and causing the planet to warm up. This is the root of climate change. One of the main sources of these gases in many parts of Africa is something very simple: the way people cook their food. In countless villages and in parts of cities, families rely on wood or charcoal. Smoke from these cooking fires rises every day, carrying with it a gas called carbon dioxide. This reliance on burning wood has another, more visible impact. To get fuel, people cut down trees. Over time, this leads to deforestation. Cleared forests mean the land loses natural protection. Trees no longer hold soil in place with their roots. Trees also stop releasing moisture that helps form rain clouds. Landscapes once green become brown and barren. In growing cities, another major source is on the roads. Cars, motorcycles, buses. Each vehicle burns petrol or diesel, releasing exhaust fumes. Stand by a busy road in Nairobi or Cairo. You can smell the pollution, the cooking fire, the cleared forest, the traffic-jammed street. These are all connected. They are parts of a global system built on burning for energy. In the face of such a large and complex problem, it is easy to feel powerless. But across Africa, individuals and communities are proving that small actions can make a real difference. They are not waiting for governments or international organizations to solve the problem for them. Instead, they are taking matters into their own hands, starting with the very ground beneath their feet. One of the simplest and most powerful actions is planting trees. In Kenya, the Green Belt movement, started by a woman named Wangari Maathai, has inspired thousands of people, especially women, to plant trees in their communities. Each tree is a small victory against climate change. Its roots help to hold the soil together, preventing it from being washed away by heavy rains. Its leaves provide shade, cooling the air and creating a more pleasant environment. As it grows, it breathes in carbon dioxide, the very gas that is warming our planet, and stores it in its trunk and branches. Planting a tree is a practical act of hope. It is a promise made to the future, a way of healing the land one sapling at a time. Beyond planting trees, people are finding other ways to reduce their impact on the environment. In coastal cities like Accra in Ghana, community groups organize beach cleanups. They gather every weekend to collect the plastic bottles, plastic bags, plastic wrappers that wash up on the shore or are left behind. This simple act not only makes the beach a cleaner, safer place, but also stops that plastic from breaking down into tiny pieces and harming marine life. These actions are about changing daily habits. It means choosing a reusable bag instead of a plastic one at the market. The story of climate change in Africa is indeed a story of great challenges. We have seen how floods can tear communities apart and how droughts can parch the land, making life a daily struggle. We have looked at the sources of the problem, from the smoke of a cooking fire to the exhaust of a city bus. It would be easy to look at the scale of this crisis and feel a sense of despair, to believe that the future is already written and that it is a bleak one. However, to focus only on the hardship would be to miss the other half of the story. For alongside the challenges, there is a powerful story of resilience, innovation, hope. A farmer in Burkina Faso reviving ancient farming techniques. A young entrepreneur in Rwanda turning plastic waste into paving blocks. A community leader in Senegal organizing neighbors to plant mangroves. These are not stories of desperation, but of action. They are driven by a deep connection to the land and a fierce determination to build a better future for the next generation. This spirit is the most powerful resource Africa has in the fight against climate change. A seed of hope has been planted, and with care and collective effort, it will grow into a greener, safer, more prosperous future for all.